have guilds that the emperor is allowed to give all of their stuff to. And that's the way we've operated for years and years and centuries, honestly, in this state. So I'm kind of like, well, I'm not really surprised that this is happening. Am I angry that it's happening? Yes, because it always angers me when this situation goes on. And the discussion usually is, well, we got to take the money because if we don't, they'll just give it to somebody else. Why? Why are you letting them take your money in the first place to give to other people? You got it backwards. Ask them, don't ask them, tell them by by not reelecting the people that are doing these things. Elect people who want to get central planning out of your life. That is the answer to things like this. Because as it stands now, Albany gets to take everything from the local communities. They get to dictate everything that the local communities get to do. And they say, if you don't follow our rules, you don't get your money back. You don't get your funds back. Sorry. And the discussion also goes like, I'm here in a part of the state that doesn't get attention, and I don't get funds, and people don't like, my part of the state. Now I look at Buffalo, who just had the Buffalo billions with a B, and I see Kathy Hochul giving Buffalo more money. And I'm in Elmira or I'm in Binghamton, and I say, hey, there's some stuff down here that could really use some help. Where's my help? And now I'm angry. I'm angry, but for the wrong reasons. I'm angry at the Bills because they got the money and I didn't. How about local communities get to keep their money and local communities get to make their decisions on their own? And if it's not feasible to build a station or to build a stadium in downtown or wherever it is, it doesn't get built. Okay, now I don't have the Bills. That's rough. That's tough to swallow for Bills fans. But it calls their bluff. It calls the Bills bluff. It calls Kathy Hochul's bluff. Are the Bills really going to leave New York? Maybe. Everybody else is. That really actually kind of makes them more New York than anything else. I would almost respect them. I'd say, you know what? That's about the most New York thing to do, is to go and flee somewhere else. So yeah, Bills, okay, go do your thing. That, of course, is a joke. But Larry discussed this yesterday about how these handouts are just that. It's corporate welfare. The Bills, are they going to leave? Maybe. But they have some of the most devoted fans in the country of any sports fans. I mean, the Phillies and Philadelphia, they have crazy fans, but the Bills, they have crazy fans. And I think the Bills understand that. I think they understand, listen, I have a tight-knit community of Bills Mafia here. And they literally are called Bills Mafia. Am I going to upset these people and leave Buffalo? When the rubber hits the road, I don't know if they're going to do that. I think they use that as a bargaining chip. Oh, we could get a whole lot more money if we moved here, Kathy. Yeah, I don't think they would have done it. Maybe they would have. But my point is, either way, we wouldn't be paying for it. And actually, it does work out to like $35 per New Yorker or something like that, which in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of money. But the point is, I shouldn't be paying $35 for a stadium that I'm probably never going to go to. Maybe I'll go to it once. Why am I paying for it? And specifically, there's a group who kind of got the shaft in this whole deal, and that's the Seneca Nation. Now, again, I don't know. All of these things that go on are constantly going on. And each time you look at them, it's just a snapshot. So there's a lot of history between the New York government and the Buffalo Bills. There's a lot of history between the New York government and the Seneca Nation. So a lot of the times when these stories get told Are they getting told because it's convenient at the time? Are you weaving, the politics of the day or the opinions of the day into an ongoing situation? Yes, there's something to that always. Nothing just started to happen 5 minutes ago. But the narrative that's been happening between the Seneca Nation and New York State is that this is the same story with all of the Indian nations. I am only familiar with what's going on in New York State, but I would wager this is the situation with the Indian nations across the entire country. And that is that they are quote unquote sovereign territory. So they don't have to play by the same rules necessarily because they're supposed to be entirely separate from the state of New York. Although they exist within the state of New York, they are not the state of New York. This is legally speaking. But for some reason, New York still feels entitled to the revenues generated on that sovereign territory. Even though it's sovereign territory, even though for all intents and purposes, it's supposed to be pretty much an entirely different country, legally speaking. But New York still wants those gaming revenues. And New York went through this with the Oneida Nation here in central New York. They had to decide, okay, how much you guys, they showed up with a bill. They said, I know you guys are sovereign and that whole treaty thing and blah, 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 blah. But we need money. So you guys owe us this much tax money from your gaming revenue. So pony up. And Oneida say, I don't know about that, sir. This is my money. I'm a sovereign nation. And New York says, well, you know what? Give me 3/4 of it and you can have exclusive gaming rights in the 5-county area and we'll call it even. So that means nobody's allowed to build a casino now that we're legalizing gambling and now that we're handing out $1 million permits for gambling. That's just the application, by the way. Now that we're doing that, we understand your concern that's going to cut in on your business, but we'll give you a monopoly in the 5-county area. You give us your back tax money, and we'll all make out like bandits. It's the mob. It's the mob. And the same thing happened recently with the Seneca Nation. Seneca Nation was in negotiations, I guess you could call it, with the state of New York. They owed New York, according to New York, they owed them a certain amount of money. And the Senecas didn't want to pay that money. Respectfully, I mean, I can respect that. I understand that because I don't want to pay New York any more money than I have to. So I can understand why they didn't want to pony up the cash. Well, the story that's come out lately in the past week or so is that New York took a page out of Canada's book and they started to mess with the ability of the Seneca Nation to access
the new
funds.
2022 Ram 1500 does it all with the towing capacity to take on any adventure and advanced technology to keep you connected on the go. No wonder it won Motor Trend's Truck of the Year 3 years in a row.
We lost you. Yeah, all of a sudden your audio just dropped right out.
Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help.
Yeah, it just literally, I mean, it dropped out for like 5 seconds, so I started playing the music and sent it the break, so I don't know what happened.
Business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Yeah, because I'm recording on the same computer that I'm playing the spot break and music on, I can't tell you exactly what your last words were. But when you come back, don't even mention there's a problem, because I'm going to make it sound like it should for the network station and for the podcast. So just come back like nothing happened.
For a DWI charge, Christopher Johnson takes your case seriously, and you'll feel like you're his only client. Because when you meet with him, your case gets 100% of his attention. So instead of cute singing jingles and magic phone numbers, fall out of a tree, call 33333. Write this number down and keep it with you. 585-415-3803. 415-3803. After all, Christopher Johnson knows you're no dummy. Get individual attention and integrity, experience, and expertise. Put the power of one on your legal team. 415-3803. Stay safe, be healthy, drive sober. Christopher Johnson, attorney, personal injury, car or motorcycle accidents, DWI Defense.
As a veteran of the United States military, I can finally get the opportunity to enjoy special events, things that we couldn't afford, thanks to VetTix. Every empty seat at a concert, a game, or a play is a missed opportunity to say thanks to a veteran and service member. We can give our veterans a special event where they too can create their own cherished memories. Visit vettix.org. Find out how you can make a difference in a veteran's life.
With disastrous leadership in Washington, corporate media that's a captive of government, and increasing censorship of the news, it's important to preserve freedom of speech and truth, whether it's related to endless COVID mandates, Albany corruption, or city violence. Try something different in 2022. Utilize the WISL stations to advertise and grow your business. Take advantage of our huge audience, entertained and informed by great conservative programming. Affordable and effective. The WISL stations, the voice of liberty. Call 346-3000 to advertise.
A free solution.
We are back on a free solution. WISL, WACK in Newark. And today we are talking about the Seneca Nation and bribing and all of these things that seem to happen in New York State repeatedly. And before the break, I was talking about New York State basically extorting the Seneca Nation by taking a page out of Canada's book and making sure that they couldn't use their bank accounts. And the Seneca Nation issued a statement a couple days ago. Says New York State's actions over the past few days were purposeful, malicious, and politically motivated. And it's because the Senecas owed New York tax money, according to New York. Now, New York side of the story, Kathy, our queen, says Tuesday the state received $564 million it was owed. They decided they were owed that. And a large chunk, more than $418 million, will go to New York State. The remainder will go to counties and cities in Western New York. So New York State is literally milking Western New York, literally milking the Seneca Nation. They decided they need it. They need that money. That's our money. You don't get to use that how you would like. And we're giving you some of it back. You know, we took the $5 million or whatever it was, and you're getting $100 million back. Come on. Why are you so upset? Never mind that all of that revenue was generated in the counties, and it technically really seems like should belong to those counties. But New York wants to take it and give it to the Buffalo Bills. And Kathy said that. Says that money that we took from the Senecas, that's going to the Bills. Now this gets into a whole issue that's a nationwide issue, which is the government going back on its promises. And this happened with the treaties. This has been happening to Indian nations since we showed up. We say, no, this is the treaty. This is your land. You can do what you want with it. It's fine. And then we say, well, actually, it's kind of like not in line with the ideas that we had. So we kind of got to go back on that treaty. Sorry. And you say, that doesn't seem right. And the state says, doesn't really matter. So that happened. And this isn't just on the state level. This happens on the local level as well. Here in central New York, where I am, there is a hospital that is going into downtown Utica. And it was a political move, 100%. It was not about healthcare. It was not about improving healthcare. It was not about improving facilities. All of the reasons they gave were smokescreens to make a nice, happy, big project in downtown Utica that people could see from the thruway when they drove through and say, there's stuff happening in Utica, which stuff happening in Utica is not enough. Stuff happening in Utica because I made it happen because I'm the cool congressman or I'm the cool senator or I'm the cool governor. That's the kind of stuff I want to happen in Utica. So the story is there were 40 businesses downtown in these blocks, these couple blocks. Used to be the heart of downtown Utica before urban decay and all of that, which was caused by government projects in the first place back in the 60s and 70s. The government bulldozed a couple neighborhoods there in downtown Utica, killed a bunch of the shops, and interrupted traffic flow, all these things. And then over the next 40 years, the area decayed because it wasn't working the way it was supposed to anymore because they dropped City Hall in the middle of it and messed everything up. And then they said, oh my God, all this decay, all this urban decay, we got to clean it up. Never mind, we caused it in the first place. We got to clean it up. It looks horrible. We're going to take eminent domain. We're going to seize these businesses. We're going to bulldoze them and we're going to put a new hospital there. All fixed, all better. Yeah. Fast forward 4 years. And now those businesses are gone. They bulldozed them. And now the city and the county are fighting over the particulars of the whole deal. The city of Utica has gone and sold a portion or negotiated for a portion, or there's land anyway that the city of Utica controls. However, they are doing that, whether it's through eminent domain or whether they own it or whether it's a friend that owns it. It's not important. The point is the city changed its mind on what it wanted to do with this property. And now it's going against the wishes of the hospital and of the county executive. And now we're having a fight over who gets to build this medical office building next to the hospital, who gets to profit from it, whose friend gets the contract, who gets to steal the property through eminent domain. What is the project? This is all fights happening between people who have no horse in the race. It doesn't matter to them. They live on a hill outside of the city, and this has absolutely no effect on them whatsoever. No personal effect. It's not their property being stolen, but they're fighting about it. And they're angry. And it's all for your good, for better healthcare. It seems like all of this effort could be put into something more useful. Like, well, anything, honestly. And this is, I could rant about this for 6 hours, probably longer. In this whole situation, when they were stealing the land in the first place, back 4 or 5 years ago, the mayor was making his rounds. And he was going to these business owners. And he was saying, you know, you got to get on board. We got to have this hospital down here. Let me clarify something. The hospital already owned 40 acres with nobody on it. It was old farmland. It did not need to be remediated. It needed nothing. They could have built literally the next day. At any point during this whole thing. They didn't have to steal land. They didn't have to do anything like that. So keep that in mind. Now, the mayor, on the behalf of the hospital, is going down through the blocks in the city. And he's saying, guys, you got to get on board here. We got to build this hospital. We got to get it built. It's important. We got all this money from the state. You know, the city's ponying up money. We got to make sacrifices. I'm sacrificing a lot here. Take a minute and listen to that. The mayor said, I'm sacrificing a lot here. What are you sacrificing, Mayor? What are you sacrificing? The business owner that he was talking to, this was a family business, a family printing business that had been in downtown Utica for over 100 years at that location. They couldn't move anywhere else because their printing presses and everything wouldn't fit out the door. They couldn't have got them out. There was no place for these people to go. The mayor says, come on. What are you doing? We're all making sacrifices here. Just let us bulldoze your property. I got to sacrifice stuff. I mean, like, I called in a favor from my friend, and all this city money that I don't have, that's not my money. All this city money, I'm ponying it up. All this money that I stole from the citizens of the Utica, come on, sacrifice your building. And this is my point about government. They actually believe that anything that they do in the realm of government is actually equivalent to you and the everyday things that you have to put up with and the everyday sacrifices that you have to make and the decisions that you have to make that actually have consequences. If you make the wrong choice, you have to deal with the consequences. If they make the wrong choice, they say, oh, sorry, too bad. I need more of your money. And this is why the Buffalo Bills stadium is a problem. The stadium itself is not a problem. New York funding the stadium is the problem. New York funding the hospital downtown is a problem. People planning your city from an ivory tower somewhere. All of this is a problem. I have a comment here from Michael Lipkin. I don't know how close Michael is to Utica. His comment is, I thought they can't do that unless they can get federal government to be involved with eminent domain. Forget government debates about the law. Oh, forget government debates. What about the law? Oh, yeah. Well, so there's a lot going on here with the eminent domain deal. No, any government can enforce eminent domain. And that was actually one of the arguments about whether the county got to enforce the eminent domain or whether the city got to enforce it. And nobody wanted to be the bad guy. Well, this was all about a parking garage in the grand scheme of things. This parking garage needed to be built for the Utica Memorial Auditorium because there's an expansion project, a pet project of the county executive that needs parking. And all of those businesses are in the way of the parking. So instead of trying to find a solution like a normal business would have to do, the county said, I'm going to force people because that's how government does stuff. So they concoct this scheme to build a hospital downtown to get their parking garage. And I'll get to that after the break. It's a whole story, man. It's something. You're going to want to tune in after the break and hear the rest of it. WYSL, WACK in Newark. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Free Solution, where we want everyone to make their own life without funds from Albany and from DC. It's possible, and it is a free solution.
Celebrating 35 years.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the new NBC forecast on WYSL. Tonight we'll see clouds increase with a chance for light showers as we head into daybreak tomorrow. Temperatures will warm up, and by tomorrow morning we'll see temperatures in the mid-50s to start off your Thursday. High temperature of 70 degrees is expected with gusty winds near 40 miles an hour possible through the day on Thursday. An isolated shower or a thunderstorm is also possible, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Thursday night, an isolated shower, breezy conditions expected with a low temperature dropping into the upper 30s. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Alex Bielfeld on your WYSL stations.
The season and your yard are ready for a change. Spring is in the air. Time to make plans to enhance your outdoor spaces for the coming warmer weather with a little help from Springwater Amish Workshop. New items are arriving daily. The Poly Outdoor Furniture Builders have a stock of the most popular colors on hand. Order your Poly Yard furniture done in the colors of your choice now to be sure it's in your yard for the first picnic of the season. New Holly Dog Beds with mattress, cute, colorful, good-looking, and comfortable. Springwater Amish Workshop buildings are the best constructed in the movable shed business. These buildings have a 30-year warranty, and the price includes free delivery within 40 miles of Springwater. Get a 3% discount when you pay by check, or you can rent to own your building. Baby Chick Time is here. Order your chicken coop now and be ready. Drive down to Springwater Amish Workshop, 7936 Mill Street, Springwater. You'll be happy you did. They're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 9 to 3.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
WYSL.
There's a place in the village of Avon you and your critters will love. Whether they're big or small, whether they've got hair, fur, or feathers, Avon Feed fits every need. There's a full selection of pet foods, bird feeders, and wild bird food, plus garden tools, quality grass seed, and a great selection of dry shod boots. Buy 10 bags of quality wild bird food, get the next bag free. Choose farm feeds and great equine products from Poland Grains. Find everything for your pet from feeding bowls to toys, leads, collars, beds, crates, and tie-outs. Avon Feed and Supply has what the big pet chain stores will never have. Tim Cole and his great knowledgeable staff. Choose from premium local products like Firefly, dairy, goat soaps, and lotions. While you're at Avon Feed, don't forget your two-legged pets with River Rat, Thousand Island cheese, and great flavors, including the new 12-year-old cheddar, plus Chef James bourbon meat sauce. Once again, nut butters and Nunday mustards. Open weekdays 9 to 6, Saturday 9 to 4. Avon Feed and Supply, West Main Street at the bottom of the hill, just west of the Circle.
Hi, I'm Dr. Pat Brophy from UR Medicine, Golisano Children's Hospital. When your favorite team wins, it's because they work together. When a medical team saves a life, it's because they put all their skills together. That's why Golisano Children's Hospital is so dedicated to creating a healthy community. It will give kids in the region access to advanced care, help us do groundbreaking research, and provide top-notch training to the next generation of pediatricians. You can help us do this. So please, give to Golisano Children's Hospital.
What if you could take a college course where you use courage, determination, and a good pair of boots? A course with activities like rifle marksmanship, rappelling, and leadership training, where you learn the skills necessary to inspire others and prepare yourself for life's adversities. A course that could pay your college tuition and upon completion would place you directly into a respected career and be a leader. Or if you could start strong and never look back. To learn more about enhancing your college experience with Army ROTC at Roberts, visit www.roberts.edu/Army ROTC or email rotc@roberts.edu. Paid for by Army ROTC at Roberts.
Lattimore Physical Therapy.
Only available in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting the colorful WYSL logo or the already famous Mount Rushmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WYSL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
A free solution.
We're back with a solution on WYSL and WACK in Newark. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Craig. And before the break, I was talking about a bunch of things. About the Bills and their stadium. And about how New York still steals money from people and gives it to other people. And they pick winners and losers. And then I got into a little bit of a local issue that people may not be aware of. But it is the epitome of everything that is wrong with our system of funding, with our system of eminent domain, with all of these problems. Essentially, it allows the well-connected and the political ruling class to do whatever they would like while they beat small businesses and individuals over the head. That seems like hyperbole, but that's literally happening right now in the city of Utica. It's a long, well, that has been going on for a very long time in the city of Utica. A specific example of it has been going on for 6 or 8 years now in the city of Utica. And before the break, I was giving you a little bit of a rundown. The Utica Memorial Auditorium was actually the precursor to Madison Square Garden. The way that it was built, it was the first and largest building built in that way up here in Utica. And it's actually something that Utica is pretty proud of. And they wanted to expand it. They wanted to create the Nexus Center to bring in world-class sporting events and all of these things into Utica, which is not a bad idea. I'm not against that. The problem is people need to get to it, which means people need parking, which means we need a parking garage, which means, now I got to figure out how to sell Utica on this parking garage. We already have 2 parking garages that could be updated that we could use, but that's just not, that's kind of, I don't like that. Let's get a brand new one. There's all these businesses across the street that kind of look crappy. Everyone's complaining about how it's like not a nice place to be and all this stuff. Yeah, we'll take those. We'll build a hospital because that needs a parking garage as well. And we're already getting a bunch of federal funds. Everybody wins. We got a hospital. We got a parking garage. We got our Nexus Center. It's all down here. Plus, we get to knock down all these unsightly buildings, these nasty buildings. They look like garbage. Never mind, these are people's homes. These are people's businesses. These are livelihoods. These are individuals. These are families. People who have spent time in that area for God knows how long. On many instances, like a century. That's not exaggeration. People have been doing business out of those buildings for like a century. But because they didn't look good, they said, we gotta get rid of those. And the issue is they succeeded. They painted these businesses as do-nothing slobs. They painted these people as, well, they've had 40 years to make it look nice. Obviously, they're never going to make it look nice. So it's the government's job to do it. We'll build a big, beautiful hospital. And we'll have a big, beautiful parking garage. And it doesn't matter what those people think down in downtown. We're going to bulldoze them. And they can take our money or they can take our lawsuit. But the hospital's going down there. End of story. And they did it. They intimidated people because what are you going to do? You're going to hold out and, ruin your life and hope maybe that you can beat City Hall? Or are you going to take the check and go? And a lot of people did that. They took the check and left. And the government said, thank you very much. Here's a hospital. Now, the argument was, well, we're not really, okay, it's 40 businesses, but how useful could they actually be? I mean, look at them. They look like garbage. They were generating tax revenue. They had chosen to stay there in Utica and eke it out and fight when a lot of people have been leaving Utica, have been leaving New York State. Here are people who chose to stay here, who are generating tax revenue for your city, who you would think the city would say, how can we help you? We really appreciate that we know there's a lot of hard things going on. We know it's hard times. You guys made it through 2008. I know the business climate is kind of rough. I see your building's kind of rough. Is there anything we can do? Are there barriers? You need the roads fixed. Can I lower your taxes? Here's these federal funds that you could none of that. They didn't want to help them. They didn't care. They said, look at how ugly your business is. It looks like garbage. I don't care how many taxes you give me. Get the hell out. And they did. And now there is a tax-free hospital generating zero revenue whatsoever. That's tax-free. 40 businesses bulldozed for a tax-free hospital. So not only was this wrong morally, it was stupid on the part of Utica and Oneida County because now they don't have the tax revenue. And this is the point about all of these flashy projects. They look good, but if you dig deeper than a centimeter, you realize, wow, this is a really bad idea. And you tell them that, and they say, no, this is the best idea ever. Shut your face. I'm saving you. I'm helping. You are not helping, my friend. Michael, the fellow that made the comment that prompted this, says that's crazy in relation to the eminent domain. He said, I thought that was a federal issue. No, any government can take your land at any time as long as they can convince the court that it's okay. And funny enough, the courts in New York State are friends with the lawmakers, are friends with the county executives, are friends with the congressmen and with the senators. They're all friends. So who are they going to rule for? They're going to rule for my buddy, for my county executive friend who did me a favor? Or am I going to rule for this poor schmuck who I probably never even met? I don't even know as a person. And this is the problem. People making decisions don't know people that they are affecting. They don't have to look people in the face and say, I'm going to steal your business. They get to write stuff on paper in a city 200 miles away. And then they get to visit the site after all of the carnage is over. And they get to say, this is wonderful. Look at and they believe it because they don't see, or they choose not to see, all of the wrong that they caused for whatever the end is that they're trying to achieve. And this is the story across America. This is how it goes. There's a lot of those businesses that didn't come back. And I guess maybe they never would have made it through COVID, which is a whole nother situation with the government imposing its will on businesses. So I guess maybe if they hadn't have been run out of town by the hospital, maybe they'd have been run out of town by COVID. But it's still New York State doing it. Our county executive enacted masking mandates before New York State did, before it was cool. He's a Republican. He claims. He's establishment is what he is. He's whatever's good for the county executive. But Republicans vote for him because we're in a redder area here. Utica is blue, but all of the surrounding county, pretty red. So as long as he says he's a Republican, all the Republicans say, well, I really hate King Andrew. Well, I really hate Kathy. And they don't pay attention to stuff that's going on. They don't have time. They're too busy working because it's so expensive to live here. So when the county executive gets up and says, I'm a Republican, they say, that's good. I love Republicans. Never mind, all the stuff that he did was specifically things that those voters would hate. As long as he's got the R, he's golden. And it works the other way, too, with the Democrats. Andrew Cuomo gives out all of this money to all these evil corporations, and he was going to give all those tax breaks to Amazon, and he was going to do all of these really things that you would expect from a Republican. But the Democrats, they hate Trump. Orange man bad. So I vote for Andrew Cuomo. And in the end, the hospital gets built downtown. Tax breaks get given to corporations. The Bills get a bunch of your money, or the Seneca Nation's money. And Andrew Cuomo goes home to his house and kicks up his feet and doesn't care. And the county executive goes home to his house, kicks up his feet, doesn't care. Kathy Hochul goes home to her house, kicks up her feet, doesn't care. It doesn't affect them one bit because they're not playing with their own chips. They took someone else's chips and they said, I'm betting the farm. My farm? No, I'm not betting my farm. I'm betting your farm. And you should be happy because that farm, it's kind of dingy looking. It's not really the nicest looking thing I've ever seen. And you should be glad that I'm going to put a hospital on your farm, that I'm betting your farm. Are you going to thank me yet? This seems like hyperbole, but this is how we do it every single day in New York State. This is how it's done, and it needs to change. It needs to change. How do we do it? From the bottom up. You got to let the people know. That's a free solution on WISL WACK. We will be back right after the break. Give me a call, 585-346-3000. Maybe you have an experience similar to this. You can comment as well. I love to hear either way from everyone tuning in.
The WISL store is now open. With nicer weather, your car needs an official Voice of Liberty bumper sticker. There's a great selection to help you show your love of God, the Constitution, and free and safe schools. Here are just a few available. Shut Up, Fauci, Kathy Hochul, Save America, Support the Second Amendment, Scam Alert, January 6th, God, Please Help Us, Close the Mexican Border, Save America, Stop Voting for Democrats. And there are gas pump stickers reading, Democrats did this. These are standard weather-resistant bumper stickers guaranteed to get you horn honks and thumbs up in traffic. Choose from other locally made WISL Voice of Liberty merch too, like tees, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Perfect gifts for any Liberty lover. Check out the exclusive WISL Mount Worstmore shirts, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting our 4 worst presidents. Guess who's front and center? Shop the WISL store at WISL1040.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever
All right,
the
when we
reason
come
may
back,
be,
I'm going to
you
play a
can rest
quick
assured knowing that the local
movie
team at
humor clip
SimpleTech
for you.
has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on
I think you're
and
going
love
to get a
helping
kick out of
customers
it.
achieve
It's
their goals.
has to
But
do
don't
with the
take my word
hospital.
for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an
Think
A+ Better
airplane.
Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals,
I trust
give
you know the
professionals
movie.
at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
There's a place in the village of Avon you and your critters will love. Whether they're big or small, whether they've got hair, fur, or feathers, Avon Feed fits every need. There's a full selection of pet foods, bird feeders, and wild bird food, plus garden tools, quality grass seed, and a great selection of dry shod boots. Buy 10 bags of quality wild bird food, get the next bag free. Choose farm feeds and great equine products from Poland Grains. Find everything for your pet from feeding bowls to toys, leads, collars, beds, crates, and tie-outs. Avon Feed and Supply has what the big pet chain stores will never have: Tim Cole and his great knowledgeable staff. Choose from premium local products like Firefly, dairy, goat soaps, and lotions. While you're at Avon Feed, don't forget your 2-legged pets with River at Thousand Island cheese and great flavors, including the new 12-year-old cheddar, plus Chef James bourbon meat sauce, once again nut butters and Nunday mustards. Open weekdays 9 to 6, Saturday 9 to 4. Avon Feed and Supply, West Main Street at the bottom of the hill, just west of the Circle.
A free solution.
This woman has to be gotten to a hospital.
A hospital? What is it?
It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now.
I jumped on top of what is that guy's name? I can't remember it. Anyway, I love
Leslie
Airplane.
Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. That's his name. Leslie. It's a big building with a bunch of windows, but that's not important right now. Yes. If people had focused more on what a hospital was instead of trying to shoehorn it into downtown Utica, I think everyone in central New York would be a whole lot happier. Free solution on WISL, WACK in Newark. Give me a call, 585-346-3000. Would love to hear your opinion on eminent domain or government handouts or any of those things that are the topic of today. And one of the discussions about the whole giving the bills a bunch of money is, where's mine? Why do they get all sorts of money? Why do they get to have the money? And as a continuation of this whole story about the downtown hospital and about the Nexus Center and about this parking garage, our county executive didn't miss that Kathy handed out all that money. He said, "Where's mine? I'm trying to build a sport complex. Your buddy Andy, he gave me a bunch of money for this project. What are you going to do, Kathy? How come they get 500 million and I get nothing? I wish I had some." And he's got a point. I hate it, but why do the Bills get it? Why can't he have some? He's trying to do the same thing. He wants to build a big old state-of-the-art thing. Why can't he have some? And this is the issue. Because nobody ever asks, where's this money coming from? Why are we giving it away? Who gets to decide who gets it? They just say, where's mine? And then they get some. I say, oh, this is great. I love it. This is great. And now I can't criticize Kathy so much because she gave me money. Shut your mouth. I'm going to pay you to shut your mouth. It's so backwards. It's so wrong. It's just nonsensical, in my opinion. And the people that pay for it are those people, those 40 businesses in downtown Utica. And Kathy Hochul, I would suspect, would say she supports the downtrodden. She supports the less fortunate. Democrats would say that. I support and they would also say, I hate it when big guys come in and beat up on the little guy. I hate those corporations, man. They beat up on small business. They're horrible. They treat their workers like crap. It's just bad. But King Andrew says, hey, I'm going to give you a bunch of money for this hospital downtown. You get to bulldoze these 40 businesses, these people who you would also consider maybe less fortunate. There was a home for there was a home for disturbed boys in this footprint. Bulldozed. Don't need that. There was a church in this footprint attended by a lot of people who didn't have a lot at all. Bulldozed. These are the underserved communities that the Democrats say they care about so much until they need a project to hang their hat on. Then it's sorry about your luck, sucks to suck. Maybe you just shouldn't be so poor. Maybe you ought to buy a $60,000 electric vehicle, you dummy. I don't know if they actually feel this way or not, but that's how it comes. That's how it comes across. Talk a big game. Oh, we care about these people. We got to help these people. And you know what would really help them? Bulldozing their business. That would really help them. That's how I'm going to do it. And I had this conversation with my neighbor. He's a Democrat. And he was pro-hospital. He said, I think it's great. You know, it's a good thing. It's going to create this economic stuff. You know, everyone's going to go down and see their dying grandma, and then they're going to go and get a pint at the bar next door. Because that's how you do it, right? When grandma's on her deathbed, you go and you see grandma, and then you go and you get a pint at the local bar. So there's going to be all these people coming into the hospital for their chemo treatments, and then they're going to go and they're going to get a burger across the street. It's going to be great. I say, I'm on chemo, but I love burgers. I am not exaggerating. These are the arguments. It's nonsensical. But they have to use these nonsensical arguments to sell this bad idea, to give you a reason to ignore the people that they are affecting. So anyway, this conversation, I got off on a tangent. Talking with my neighbor. He says, I love it. I think it's going to bring a lot to downtown. I think it's going to be great. And I said, don't you hate it? And he also said, see, this was the other thing that they did. They being the people pushing the hospital. His impression was that all these buildings down there didn't actually have anything in them. It was just a bunch of people sitting on them speculating. They bought up the buildings. They're speculating, waiting for their chance to sell them to make $1 billion. And I said, it's actually the exact opposite of that. You should actually hate this project because it's underserved communities. It's the less fortunate. It's the people that you've told me on many occasions you care about. And I believe him. I believe he does care about these people. I said, you should hate this project because they bulldozed those properties. They threw those people out on their butts because they wanted a new, shiny make work project that could have gone on 40 acres that was already owned by the hospital. And he started to think. He says, maybe I don't like this so much. And he said, well, I don't really know that much about it. There, you nailed it. If you turn on the news or you listen to what any of these politicians are telling you, they paint the story and they count on the fact that it's a convoluted mess. And at the end of the day, you really just want to go and visit your dying grandma and go and have a pint afterwards. I'm being facetious, obviously. But the pint and the burger, that's not facetious. They know you don't have time to watch this. So whatever they say, you'll hear it. And maybe you'll believe it, maybe you won't, but that's all that you hear. So you don't hear the other side of the story. You don't hear about the troubled home for boys.
2 minute.
You don't hear about the people doing good work down there in this footprint. You hear about how ugly it is and how it's the government's job to make it better. Who said it was bad? Nobody said it was bad. You said it was bad because you wanted to give people a reason to rally behind your pet project, to believe that you were helping, to believe that you were the only answer to make a successful community. Okay, it was a little rough around the edges. People were living down there. There was a Salvation Army down there. Another thing that I forgot to mention. They bulldozed that. Now there's no Salvation Army in Utica. All of these things down there that were helping people. It was people helping people. It was individuals helping people. It was a community. But because it didn't look the way it was supposed to look, because it didn't look pretty, New York and Utica and Oneida County said, get the hell out of here. That's not how you're supposed to look. We'd like it better if you just went elsewhere so that we could do our fun stuff here and tell everybody how awesome we are. And that is the problem, folks. That is the problem with big government. That is the problem with people telling you how to live. Is it's okay as long as they're telling someone else to do it, but they're going to come for you eventually because you're going to be the wrong kind of thing, whatever that is, at some point. And it's really hard to fight City Hall when they've got you in your sights. So let's try to make City Hall a little bit smaller. Let's try to reduce it. Let's try to put the power back in the hands of people, back in the hands of community. Let's start making some more of our own decisions. Let's stop it with begging and taking cues from Albany and Washington. And that is freeing. And it's a free solution. And that's why you got to tune into WYSL and WACK. I will talk to you tomorrow.
All right, good show.
Warmer days are on the way. Better see Victor Chevrolet to get ready for